Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A warm welcome to today's episode of Jewels of the Heart with Nadi and Annissa. This is a special program series for Ramadan where we're exploring challenges you're facing and trying to provide you with practical answers rooted in Quran and Sunnah. My name is Rayhaanah Omar. A warm welcome. Today's question: can you guide me on a simple way to do a self-assessment of my habits this Ramadan? An excellent question. So let's begin with the Quran as our guide. In Surah Al-Hashr, Surah 59, verse 18, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. It translates as, O you who have believed, fear Allah, and let every soul look to what it has put forth for tomorrow, and fear Allah. Indeed, Allah is acquainted with what you do. If you were to reflect on this ayah and just the apparent meaning from the translation itself, though it doesn't do full justice, is a reminder to us. A reminder of accountability, a reminder of sending forth for tomorrow. And that tomorrow is not the day after tomorrow, not the tomorrow on the calendar, but a tomorrow of infinity, a tomorrow of the hereafter, a tomorrow where my home and abode could be paradise or the hellfire. And we ask Allah to make it a paradise. Ameen. So when you're looking at assessments, and that's a very proactive stance, especially at this time of the month, is number one, list your advantages. Advantages could also be your strengths. And then list your shortcomings. So I would suggest that you leave this closer towards the end of the month, perhaps in the 2 or 3 days before Eid, because it can be demotivating for some people. So list your advantages and list your shortcomings. Then I'd like you to think about how you will maintain your advantages. And likewise, how will you maintain your shortcomings, both of them? What will you do? Now, when we talk about maintaining shortcomings, we mean maintaining it at the lowest point possible. You don't want your shortcomings to engulf your successes. You want them to diminish and become smaller and smaller. So, if the challenge you face and your shortcoming was telling lies, or stealing, or backbiting, you may know that you're not able to let go of it immediately, but slowly, step by step, you want to break that down and collapse that bad habit so that eventually it no longer exists. So what can you do on a practical level? You see, Ramadan teaches us to know ourselves, to know who we are, to remind us that we have another home to go to, a forever home, an eternal home. So how am I preparing for my forever home? How am I preparing for that eternal home? What are you sending, as the Quran says? Sending forth ahead of yourself. So list down your shortages, your shortcomings, your advantages, and how you're going to maintain that. What will you do differently? Ramadan teaches us to know ourselves in hunger, in thirst, in tiredness. It shows us and mirrors to us our true self in our most weakest form. Many of us are so afraid of that weak form. We are uncomfortable with hunger. We are uncomfortable with thirst or exhaustion simply because we feel we're not in power. But when have we ever been in power? When have we ever been in control? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the powerful, the almighty, the absolute controller. So I ask you to look within yourself in a quiet moment and discover what you could do better next Ramadan and what you have done well. A balance of both criticism but also acknowledgement of the self. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.